Hello, philosophers. I'm Chico. Welcome to the Philosopher's Classroom, where we consider something from the Philosopher's Show in a little more academic rigor. Today, we're talking about cultural relativism, the idea that a thing is good only if and only if a society approves of it. Right? So it's good in a society, but it's not good in general. Right? It's just good in a specific place, in a specific culture. This is an idea that would be let's say a subset, of a larger idea called subjectivism, which is the idea that morality depends upon the subject. There's no just being like good in general, good for a particular person, a particular society, et cetera, something like that, which would be, of course, contraposed to objectivism, which is that a thing is good, or at least some things are good, no matter what. And so you could have it wouldn't be really like a blend to say it is wrong to kill, but it's only wrong to flip people off in America, not in other places. As so long as there is some kind of wrong no matter what, that would be objectivism. At least that's what we would call objectivism. So the idea is cultural relativism, and I'm going to give you some arguments that would support cultural relativism, and I'll show you how some philosophers respond to those arguments. The first thing is that it seems like both tastes and moralities change between cultures. Therefore, a taste is very specific to a culture, and you will see also moralities being the same way. And we wouldn't want to say that a taste is just wrong, like. Here's a really crazy one. In the Philippines, they eat this thing called balut, which is like a fermented duck fetus, I believe. They have an egg. There's a duck fetus in it, and they let that thing ferment, and then they eat that thing. And I've seen it happen before, and I guess I've seen shows about it. In Sardinia, they have maggot cheese. They literally will let flies drop maggots in the cheese. The maggots start eating the cheese, and then they eat the live maggots, right? Oh my gosh. That's illegal, by the way, in the United States. And this is not necessarily, I don't know about the maggot cheese. That might be unsafe. But the balut doesn't seem like it's unsafe. And yet, guys like me, I hear that, and I could take a lot. I've been to dim sum with my buddy Dan Al in San Francisco, and whoa, man, we had some crazy stuff. And I powered through a lot of it, because I wanted to open that mind. But there were a few things that I stopped at, and they didn't even bring out balut. You eat pork sticky buns, and you're like, gosh, these people know what food is. This is amazing. And then they bring out chicken feet and jellyfish. And what just happened? I thought you guys knew how to make good food. What happened to this stuff? So yeah, it seems like some things are a matter of taste. Here's one more that is interesting because I saw this in Qatar. I was deployed there for many times actually, and I remember one day some of the Qatari princes came to have a meal with us in the mess tent, and before they went in, they were in the bathroom, and we didn't have any place for them like to wash their feet. We didn't wash our feet. We had boots always, so they were washing their feet in the sink, like where you wash your hands. And I remember thinking, oh, gross, what's going on? I came out of the bathroom, I saw that, I was like, what are you doing? This is where I wash my hands, and yet that's not more or less sanitary than me washing my hands after I went, to the restroom in those sinks. So it seems like there's just this repulsiveness, but it's purely a matter of taste, and it's a matter of taste that I get from my culture. This is what philosophers call the yuck factor, right? Just ew, but it's only because of the place that you were raised. And morality seemed to change in a very similar way. There are some societies where covering your hair is important if you're a woman, where they feel like it is scandalosa if you have your hair flowing around. And so, and this isn't just Muslim, by the way. This is other countries as well, where covering the hair is an important deal. And some societies feel like that's a bad thing, right? Some societies think like that's subjugating women and how dare you. And for them, they just see it as like, I feel scandalous to have my hair out there for everybody to see. So moralities might change in the same way. So we might have like an argument by analogy. Just like the culture, the taste changes between cultures, taste changes between morality. Therefore, just like taste is changing in cultures isn't really wrong per se, the moralities aren't really wrong per se. It's all a matter of where you're at. Okay, so here's some objections to this argument. The first one would be, well, cultures disagree on all kinds of stuff, right? They disagree on physics. They disagree on religion. They disagree on anthropology, right? They disagree on all kinds of stuff. That doesn't mean that there's no fact of the matter about those things. The Mayans believe that the Earth was on the back of an alligator, and there were 4 trees one on each corner of the square Earth, and they're keeping them on the back of that alligator. Well, those cultures disagreed with our cultures, just like their moralities disagreed with our moralities. But there was a fact of the matter about them just being wrong, right? People have been around the world. So in the same way, there could be a fact of the matter about their morality being wrong. So some of them believe today, some people believe in reincarnation, right? And now we might say, well, in those religions, it's true for them, that they have, there is reincarnation, even if it's not true for us. And that sounds very much like this cultural relativism. The problem is, when you say true for them, what you really mean is they believe that. Of course, that's what they believe, right? You mean they believe that that's true. Okay, yeah, but either we're reincarnated or we're not. Either it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. There's a fact of the matter about it. And just because we disagree doesn't mean there's no fact of the matter about it. Here's another objection. It seems like cultures disagree on moralities in a lot of places, but really when you step back and you get a little bit more general, you're going to see that although they disagree about the ways that these things are implemented, they do tend to agree on most of the basic morality questions. So, for example, even in cannibals who break one of the major taboos, which is eating of other humans in almost all societies. It's really weird about that's one of the ones that we really freak out about. But we do. And even for them, the reason that they're cannibalistic is because they do think it's wrong, because they think it's like they are not just defeating you, they're eating you, right? I mean, that's pretty gnarly. So even for the cannibals, they had an idea of right and wrong about these kinds of things. The golden rule, it seems like it's almost universally accepted. There's, of course, disagreements on what constitutes your neighbor. Some people believe like, well, those aren't really, people, so we're not going to add them to the golden rule. But of course, people that are like me, yeah, they get the golden rule treatment. And the UN has gotten almost all countries to agree on an extensive statement of human rights. So it does seem like in different cultures we do agree. It's just that when we get into the details, we start to fudge those things. And now, finally, an objection to this whole argument. From this whole argument, I should say, we see things that are products of cultures that can have objective truth, can have truth that are true no matter what, no matter being in that culture or not. So, for example, science books are products of cultures. They could not have arisen in certain cultures. They arose in other cultures, and they can have objective truths in them, even though they were a product of those cultures. So it seems like we can have things that are products of cultures and be objectively true.